America.
Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hello and welcome to Buffoon of the Week. We're a show that reviews last week's news and current events, searching for the dumbest newsmaker of the week. We'll nominate two worthy buffoons, and you vote for who you think deserves our dubious distinction by either leaving a comment below the video or by voting on our website at buffoonoftheweek.com. The last time we did this, you voted for MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred as Buffoon of the Week for taking the Major League Baseball All-Star Game out of Atlanta because he got big mad at Georgia's voter reform laws. Hey Rob, how have things been going since then?
It's been a pressure-filled month for us, for the entire Major League Baseball organization.
Pow! Right in the kisser. That, my friends, is thanks to our partnership with PieOrama. Ever just wanted to chuck a pie in someone's annoying, pieable face? Now you can. Go to the Apple Store and download the PieOrama app to get started. Right about now, we'd be talking about our dishonorable mentions, but this week saw an overload of buffoonery. So we'll be listening to dishonorable mentions on buffoonoftheweek.com because we wanted to jump right in to this clash of buffoonish titans, the likes of which we have not seen in a very long time. But before we do that, be sure to smash that thumbs up button and please subscribe to the show. Oh, and when you do, be sure to turn on that little notification bell so that you never miss another show. All set? Great. Well, let's get ready to rumble by unveiling this week's huge nominees.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.
LeBron James is our first nominee, and it all starts with something we've seen a lot of on this show. Tweeting out something really stupid. This past Tuesday, the socially vocal NBA star tweeted a picture of Columbus, Ohio police officer Nicholas Reardon, who was involved in the unfortunate shooting of Ma'Khia Bryant. Body camera video from Reardon shows that he shot Bryant as she was apparently attempting to stab another black female. The tweet included the phrase, "You're next," and hashtag accountability. While some surmised that James was referring to Derek Chauvin's murder conviction that occurred hours before news of this Columbus shooting, others accused James of race baiting and even threatening Reardon's well-being, and the backlash from that was absolutely nuclear. I mean, even O.J. Simpson went at LeBron James.
But you can't fight every battle, you know? You can't, you gotta pick your battles. I mean, it's a war that must be fought, but sometimes you need to take your time and be a little more patient before you comment on some of these bad incidents that are happening with police departments. This one, LeBron should have waited. I'm a little upset with most of the media because they showed us edited versions of what took place with the girl with the knife. They made it sound as if this was another police officer overreacting and killing a young black American. Well, from what I saw when I saw the full tape, the police guy had no choice. He responded. We wish he could have pulled a taser. We wish he could have done it in another way. But in that instance, if he hadn't done what he did, it appeared to me if another young American would have had her life taken. And hey, I can't fault what he did. I wish it was different, but I can't fault it. But
wow, when O.J. Simpson is schooling you about stabbings, you might be a buffoon. Not only did people come at James for the irresponsible tweet itself, but they also took LeBron to task for his perceived hypocrisy in defending China against Twitter criticism and his failure to oppose the most brutal regime in the world. Remember this when LeBron went off about a tweet that was negative about China?
I felt like with this particular situation, it was something not only was I, not informed enough about, I just felt like it was something that not only myself and my teammates or our organization had enough information to even talk about it at that point in time, and we still feel the same way. I'm not here to judge how the league handled the situation. I just think that, when you're misinformed or you're not educated about something, and I'm just talking about, the tweet itself, you never know the ramifications that can happen. We all seen what that did. Not only did for our league, for all of us in America, for people in China as well. And sometimes you have to think through things that you say that may cause harm, not only for yourself, but for the majority of people. And I think that's just a prime example.
So it's okay to go off half-cocked about controversy in the freest nation in the history of the world, but let's not speak out about oppression in China. Now, why is that, LeBron? We think it's probably because the NBA needs all that sweet, sweet Chinese communist money, and LeBron needs that sweet, sweet Nike sweatshop bank, especially with NBA viewership in the US down more than half. LeBron eventually did the deletion of shame, but not before it was retweeted out over 50,000 times, and responded that others were trying to turn his message into hate. Oh, cry me a freaking river. We're pretty sure you were doing a good enough job on your own there, bud. Bottom line, LeBron James is a hypocrite. He has no problem sending off hot takes on issues here at home, but we need to not jump on China? We have an expression for that. Sellout. You're a sellout, LeBron. You and the league you represent. You are selling out your own country for money. You deserve every bit of the backlash you got and more for acting like a hypocrite. Do Asian lives not matter to you as much as black lives? Or do we need to pay you more so you can care more? You know what? I'll tell you what, LeBron. Let's make a deal. You like making deals, right, sellout? You take accountability for turning a blind eye to one of the most brutal regimes on the planet so you can make a living off the backs of truly oppressed people. And then maybe we'll take your race-baiting rhetoric here at home more seriously. Let that marinate in your educated mind.
I speak from a very educated mind, so I'm kind of the wrong guy to actually go at because I do my homework.
Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. This week's second nomination was well earned by Congresswoman Maxine Waters. Before deliberations began in the trial of Derek Chauvin in Minneapolis, Congresswoman Waters traveled there and had this to say to reporters.
We're looking for a guilty verdict. We're looking for a guilty verdict, and we're looking to see if all of the talk that took place and has been taking place after they saw what happened to George Floyd, if nothing does not happen, then we know that we've got to not only stay in the street, but we've got to fight for justice. But I am very hopeful, and I hope that we're going to get a verdict that will say guilty, guilty, guilty. And if we don't, we cannot go away. Well, we got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business.
Waters' remarks prompted Chauvin defense attorney Eric Nelson to move for a mistrial.
And now that we have U.S. representatives threatening acts of violence in relation to this specific case, it's mind-boggling to me, Judge.
Well, I'll give you that Congresswoman Waters may have given you something on appeal that may result in this whole trial being overturned.
While Judge Peter Cahill denied Nelson's motion, he had a lot more to say about Auntie Maxine.
I'm aware that Congresswoman Waters was talking specifically about this trial and about the unacceptability of anything less than a murder conviction and talk about being confrontational, but you can submit the press articles about that. This goes back to what I've been saying from the beginning. I wish elected officials would stop talking about this case, especially in a manner that is disrespectful to the rule of law and to the judicial branch and our function. I think if they want to give their opinions, they should do so in a respectful and in a manner that is consistent with their oath to the Constitution, to respect a co-equal branch of government. Their failure to do so, I think, is abhorrent, but I don't think it has prejudiced us with additional material that would prejudice this jury. They have been told not to watch the news. I trust they are following those instructions and that there is not in any way a prejudice to the defendant beyond the articles that we're talking specifically about the facts of this case. A congresswoman's opinion really doesn't matter a whole lot.
Even after this strong rebuke, Waters had the gall to go back to the media to say that Judge Cahill was saying that she really didn't do anything wrong and to call his own character into question.
What was your response to the judge when you saw that?
Well, he did walk it back. And as you said, he closed with, Congresswoman's opinion doesn't matter. And I think he was angry. I think he may be frustrated with this case and how much world publicity is on it and all of that. I've talked with a lot of legal scholars and lawyers, and of course, he was way off track. And he knows that, in fact, the jurors were not in the room. The jurors had an oath not to look at television, not to read the newspapers, not to engage with people on this. And so he knows that there was no interference with the jurors. But he was basically frustrated and angry, I believe. But I'm very pleased that there are those who are beginning to write about Judge Cahill's basic comments. And one thing that I read that came from someone from CNN was that the judge was all off track, and he knows that this is not the cause of an appeal. Most of the time, and you have a case like this, they're going to appeal it anyway. But to say that I'm going to cause an appeal really is not credible. And whether or not they have an appeal, and even if they mention my name, like the judge says, my comments, whatever, don't matter anyway.
What a piece of work. But this is Maxine's MO. She'll say something inflammatory and then deny that there's ever any controversy. As we know, this isn't the first time Maxine Waters has run her mouth in a way that made people question whether she was promoting violence.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
Can you say that you have not glorified or encouraged violence against Republicans?
Absolutely, I can say it. As a matter of fact, if you look at the words that I used, the strongest thing I said was tell them they're not welcome. Talk to them. Tell them they're not welcome. I didn't say go and fight. I didn't say anybody was going to have any violence, and so they can't make that statement.
Man, what a tangled web Auntie Maxine is weaving. She's never advocated for violence? What exactly do you foresee happening when you tell supporters to push back on them or to get confrontational? Yeah, sure, she's never said go and beat them up, but that's not the issue. Given Congress's torturous definition of what inciting violence looked like, which by the way, Waters agreed with when she voted to impeach President Donald Trump the second time around, the issue is whether Maxine Waters' words could be interpreted as violent rhetoric. Under the standard that Congress and Waters adopted, you can definitely say that what Waters did is worse than what Trump did. In acting like a raging loudmouthed buffoon, Waters may have given Chauvin a get-out-of-jail-free on appeal card and set back her own cause. And that, my friends, is some crazy-ass buffoonery. You know, this week is probably the two biggest buffoons we've ever had go head-to-head. It's a shame that only one can win, but that's up to you guys. So tell us who you got for this week's Buffoon of the Week. Wow, you made it to the end of the video. You guys must really like what we're doing. So please, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. Special shout out to our friend Conscience for Political Buffoonery Part 1. We love using it. Be sure to come back next week, where we'll have 2 more nominees, but only one can be Buffoon of the Week.